So Crazy Stupid Love was a rom-com released in 2011, directed by Glenn Ficarra and John Weckwa. By the way, I'd like to apologize if I butchered either of your names. And the film stars a great ensemble cast that includes Steve Carell, Julianne Moore, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, Kevin Bacon, amongst a plethora of others, to say the least. The film starts off as Steve Carell and Julianne Moore's characters are at dinner, and at this dinner, Julianne Moore drops off a bombshell at Steve Carell saying, hey, I want a divorce, and as a result of it, Steve Carell goes to the bar just drinking until a character portrayed by Ryan Gosling sees him and says, hey, I want to find you, discover your manhood once again, and get you back out there, which leads to some say the least, some crazy stuff going on. And before I continue on with today's video, let's also start our conversation below. Have you guys seen Crazy Stupid Love? What do you think of the movie? Where does this rank in your favorite romantic comedies? Or even better, what is your favorite romance comedy to watch on Valentine's Day? Let me know below. Alright everybody, let's get into Crazy Stupid Love.
Excellent!
I am shocked that I haven't already done a video about this movie years ago. Crazy Stupid Love came out, if you can believe it, 15 years ago, which blows my mind knowing that I was either just at the end of my junior year level of high school, or I was just about to enter my senior year of high school. Oh. Way to make me feel older, video. When I saw the trailer to this movie, I remember I was the only one of my family that actually wanted to see it, as really nobody had interest in seeing this movie. From the surface, I mean, you see a stacked cast like this, and you would probably think it's one of those, you know, Lifetime Channel movies, or one of those movies like, you know, Valentine's Day. I think there was actually a movie titled that, or New Year's Eve. There was even one, I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically one of those types of films that this great ensemble cast that essentially had everybody and their mother in it. And while it looked great and it had a cast, it was nothing more than just one of your, you know, cliche, you know, generic type of romance movies that would come out at a certain time of the year. But if I remember correctly, Crazy Stupid Love was one of those few films that, even though it looked like it would be one of those, you know, cliche and generic rom-com movies, it was one of those few that actually had a lot more to offer than just, hey, here's this great cast. And if I remember correctly, I did not see this movie until, I want to say, a couple of years afterwards. I was watching TV one day. It was on one of those premium cable channels, and I thought, you know what, I got nothing going on today, I'm just gonna pop it on and see if it's actually really, really good. And upon my first viewing, I really dug this movie. I didn't absolutely love it when I first saw it, I don't know, over 10 years ago, but I do remember that I really dug the film, and once again, I'm quite shocked that I haven't done a video about this movie until today. Speaking of which, I just wanted to say happy Valentine's Day to you all out there. Whether you're spending time with your girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, fiance, you all know what I'm talking about. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And for those of you who are like me, Single Awareness Day, I hope you're having just a great day, just treating yourself, you know, because everybody deserves love out there. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day out there. And I do apologize if I do get this up, unfortunately, the day afterwards, but still I want to make a video for Valentine's Day for you all, and I thought, what better time than to review one of the more charming and one of the crazier romance films out there. When it comes down to the performances, everybody in this movie is great. There isn't a single person in this movie that gives a subpar performance. Steve Carell, as y'all can imagine, is great. Julianne Moore is great. Ryan Gosling is great. Emma Stone is great. Kevin Bacon is great. Not to mention as well, Marissa Tomei as well is great in the film, and she has easily one of the funniest moments of the entire film. Steve Carell's character starts off as this person that feels like he has lost everything, and then when Ryan Gosling's character comes around, he says, hey, I'm gonna help you get back in touch with how you should be doing right now, with not only how you should be looking right now, but also getting back, you know, your inner confidence. And by the time the movie ends, we see Steve Carell coming from a person that wears these Reebok shoes, to which That reminds me, to anybody out there going on a nice date, don't ever wear shoes like that. Seriously. Especially when you're going on a date with a hot redhead like Julianne Moore. If you're going on a date with such a fine lady like Julianne Moore, you better have the best looking suit, a great colored shirt, slacks, even jeans, and not fucking sneakers. Just want to put it out there because when I saw that and I just thought, you're out to dinner with Julianne Moore and you have that look? Go back home right now and actually look good for your... It's Julianne Moore, for God's sakes, do better! One person in particular that I paid a lot more attention to after I saw this movie was Ryan Gosling. Before this movie, I had only seen, I believe I only saw Ryan Gosling in The Notebook. I mean, I know that Ryan Gosling had appeared in plenty of things before The Notebook, but The Notebook was my first time seeing Ryan Gosling, but seeing him here, not only portraying somebody that has, by the way, great comedic timing, especially when he is helping out Cal buying new clothes and all that kind of stuff. The amount of times that he just slaps. And by the end, I just want to mention this really quick. When Steve Carell returns the favor right back to him, I was laughing hysterically. Ryan Gosling is easily, to me, the MVP of this movie, and he steals scenes, by the way, from Steve Carell, who himself is a legend, but Ryan Gosling is terrific in this movie. Emma Stone is another person that I gotta talk about, not only because I have a massive crush on her, once again, yes, because she is a redhead in the movie. For those of you who know me personally, I have a massive weakness for redheads, but Emma Stone is just genuinely great in the film. I love Emma Stone so much, and once again, another character that totally just fumbled it was Emma Stone's boyfriend in the movie. To that boyfriend in the movie, how do you not put a ring on a finger of this gorgeous lady? I mean, come on. You put a ring on that damn finger and you bag that immediately. Another thing in particular that I have always loved about Crazy Stupid Love is how this movie does approach the romantic comedy genre. It's one of those genres of movies that I feel like isn't really always the most well done ones, because don't get me wrong when I say this to you guys, there are plenty of really good romantic comedies out there, absolutely yes, but I genuinely feel that especially in the 2010s decade, even in this decade, there haven't been many great rom-coms that have offered more than just some laughs, some great moments, and a great ensemble cast like I mentioned earlier. But Crazy Stupid Love is one of those rom-coms that does offer a lot more, and it does show what people do when they're in love. Do people do crazy things? Absolutely yes. Do people do stupid things? Absolutely yes. But is it in the name of love? Abso-freaking-lutely yes. We have a character that is in love with his babysitter, and he is doing everything possible to showcase, hey, you are my soulmate. We see another character at the start of the film, Steve Carell's character, that does a crazy thing in which after he is given that bombshell of his wife wanting a divorce, he gets out of the car while it's moving. Another aspect about this movie that I gotta talk about is the comedy. This movie is hysterical. In particular, a scene that I mentioned earlier is when Ryan Gosling is meeting up with Steve Carell's character at that mall, and he's trying to help him, find his look, find him, helping him rediscovering his confidence. Steve Carell trying to pick up Marissa Tomei's character, trying to essentially be Ryan Gosling's character, is absolutely failing. Then he uses his honesty to help her, to get her in bed, and the amount of times he's like, is it honest? It's honest, oh my god! I can't not talk about this movie without mentioning the one scene that everybody mentions, and that's a scene where all the characters meet up when Steve Carell is trying to woo Julianne Moore back. Oh my god. This scene is still a great scene, and it is honest to God one of my favorite scenes in romantic comedy in the 2010s. Steve Carell is trying to win back his wife portrayed by Julianne Moore. They're meeting up with their daughter, who turns out is Emma Stone. It also turns out that they find out that Ryan Gosling, the guy that's been helping out Steve Carell's character, Ryan Gosling's been dating Emma Stone's character, which leads into this big ass fight, and then crazier plot twist that happens, which by the way, crazy part of the title. The babysitter that Steve Carell's character's son is in love with, turns out she has a crush on Steve Carell's character, and she has been trying to get his attention to the point where she does things that aren't quite right to get his attention, that leads the attention of getting her father's attention, which he, oh my god, this crazy scene is an understatement. But then the cherry on top is when Kevin Bacon arrives with one of Julianne Moore's clothing, her accessories, and then everybody is going like, get the fuck, Something in particular that I really appreciate about this movie is that while this movie does have its cliches, absolutely yes, it is a film that has no problem calling them out. There is always that one moment in any film, especially in romantic comedies, where we think things are going well for our main protagonist and the person he's trying to get back, but then something happens and there's a something weather-wise that goes on. And the thing that I love about this moment is that Steve Carell's character says, what a cliche. Not only just a great moment, but it's also a clever fourth wall break at saying, hey, you know what, this movie has cliches, but you know what, we're using to our advantage to not only deliver a really good laugh, but generally just a well done scene. The last thing that I gotta talk about is the film's ending. Now, obviously no spoilers. Well, I may go into some depth here, but just bear with me here. There is a great scene in his son's graduation where he says, hey, I fumbled it, I don't know if things are gonna work, but I'll never stop fighting for you. Not only that, but he also seems to approve of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone's relationship. The son who is trying to be after the babysitter is saying, hey, you know what, in a couple of years I'll look like my dad, so then hey, we can be soulmates. My favorite moment of the ending is a great moment that we have with Steve Carell and Julianne Moore and their son who is looking at them. Because here is the thing, this is a moment that we don't know if they're getting back together, if they have reconciled, but they're sharing smiles, they're sharing laughs, so there is some optimism, there is some hope, but once again, Steve Carell's character is saying, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I will keep fighting for her because she is, well, my soulmate. We do not know for certain if it's actually gonna work out for the two of them, and then it cuts to black, and I was just thinking, that was a great ending.
Well, that's just fucking great!
Now, I will say this, is Crazy Stupid Love a perfect movie? I don't quite think it is. I'm not in as love with it as many others out there, but do I think it's a great film? Absolutely yes. Crazy Stupid Love isn't without the tropes, the cliches that we all know from rom-coms. The movie absolutely isn't free of those, as there are those moments in which you can definitely see coming miles upon, miles away. And if I were to say one more thing, I wish that it did go into more of the stupid bit of things, because there are some moments that do show the stupid side of being in love, but I do kind of wish it went more into that, just a tad bit more along with the crazier side of things. Once again, they still do show those side of things, but I do wish they went into those moments just a tad bit more, a little bit more, just a little bit.
And here we go.
So overall, Crazy Stupid Love is damn entertaining. It's funny, sweet, charming, and it's an all-around a great rom-com. And to top it all off, with a great cast. All in all, I'm gonna give Crazy Stupid Love a 4.5 out of 5. And if you're looking for a movie to watch with a significant other for Valentine's Day tonight, watch it. It is such an entertaining film. Give it a shot, guys. It is so damn good. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Crazy Stupid Love. If so, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click it right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I'll see you all next time.